Your brakes, steering, and airbags now answer to software, and that software answers to the dealership. Today, we expose how proprietary gateways and authentication keep owners out, even for basic diagnostics. This isn't about convenience. It's about control and recurring revenue. Watch as we trace how dealer-only access blocks independent shops, why updates can remove functions, and which popular features are locked behind subscriptions. You'll see the exact barriers that turn your car into a service plan with wheels, and how to spot the models that will cost you every time a warning light blinks. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Ever plugged in a scan tool, got a clean connection, and still couldn't reset the brake service message or cycle a valve? The wall you hit isn't a bad cable or a cheap tool. It's a silent checkpoint. Software that decides whether you're allowed to do more than look. That checkpoint is the secure gateway. Think of it as a digital traffic cop sitting between the OBD port and the rest of the car. Your requests to run tests, open solenoids, or tweak configurations now route through a central module. Read-only data like fault codes and live sensor values usually pass. Anything that could change behavior, calibrations, coding, actuator tests, stops unless the gateway sees a valid login. That means tokens, certificates, or an active session with the manufacturer's servers. If the handshake fails, your commands don't make it past the gate. Many owners assume OBD-II gives full access because the connector looks the same on every car. It doesn't. The standard mandates emissions-related data and codes, but it doesn't force automakers to allow bidirectional controls or programming. Those are wrapped in proprietary layers. So the tool you bought can read misfire counters, yet it can't put the ABS into bleed mode without a credential that lives behind a paywall. Stellantis made this obvious with its security gateway module. Without a registered account and an authenticated session, independent shops lose bidirectional functions. Need to place an electronic parking brake into service mode for rear pads? Blocked. Swapped a battery on a stop-start model and need registration to protect the alternator and smart charging? Also blocked. Shops have to apply for access, pay an annual fee, and keep the gateway session live just to perform what used to be routine. Scale is part of the reason. Modern cars run software measured in hundreds of millions of lines. Brakes, steering, and airbags depend on code that rejects unauthenticated commands to reduce the risk of spoofing or tampering. Each brand layers its own protocol and encryption on top of the basic standard. So while the port is common, the language and permissions behind it aren't. German brands lean hard on online authorization. On many BMW and Mercedes models, coding a replacement module or adapting a new sensor triggers a factory session. The tool phones home, checks your account, verifies the vehicle's options, and only then writes changes. You can read faults with a DIY scanner, but you can't enable a feature or complete a retrofit without that online handshake. Honda and Acura push immobilizer and key functions through IHDS, and access to those immobilizer routines requires certified locksmith credentials. Even throttle or radar calibrations may need paid time-gated access. Costs stack fast. Dealers charge diagnostic rates that reflect the subscriptions and infrastructure behind those gateways. Independents run lower hourly rates, but they still pay per day or per vehicle fees to unlock specific functions. Add the time to set up accounts, complete two-factor logins, and keep a session alive, and a simple job drifts into billable hours. You feel it when you're quoted an extra hour for a calibration that used to be a few steps on a handheld tool. Here's the financial twist. As access moves into the cloud, the key to your own car lives on a server you don't control. When software becomes a service, you pay to activate what's already bolted in. At a dealer, diagnostics often land between $160 and $220 per hour, plus OEM subscription overhead baked into the rate. Independents might quote $90 to $140 per hour, but then pass along $35 to $100 per day or per VIN access fees for the gateway and software. That simple alignment now needs ADAS camera calibration authenticated online, turning a routine visit into several $100s before any parts are replaced. If access is the lock, subscriptions are the key that keeps turning. Every month, What if an update pushed overnight turned your heated seats into a monthly charge? That headline wasn't clickbait. It previewed a model where the hardware is already in your driveway, but the switch flips only when the payment clears or the dealer signs off. Here's how it works. Automakers ship vehicles with dormant capability in the modules. The seat elements, radar sensors, lighting arrays, even higher capacity battery packs can sit installed and fully wired. The control units read the VIN, phone home, and check whether your account carries the right entitlements. Without payment or dealer authentication, the software blocks the function at the firmware level. You see the button. The module sees "not authorized." You probably feel like you bought the thing, so you own the function. Manufacturers frame it differently. They say you license the software that governs those components and the connected services that keep them alive. The terms let them change, time limit, or revoke access as policies evolve. That gap between ownership of hardware and license to operate the feature is where the monthly charges live. Examples have already hit the road. BMW piloted subscriptions on heated seats and ran trials on driver assist functions that needed paid activation. Mercedes offered a paid acceleration boost that increased output without touching the engine bay. Tesla tied battery range and performance upgrades to software, sold autopilot features as add-ons, and reconfigured what the car can do after delivery. Toyota linked remote start on certain years to app tiers, which meant a paid plan could gate what used to be a simple fob command. Different brands, same playbook. The car rolls out with capability on board, and the cloud decides whether it wakes up. There's also a service layer most owners don't see. Advanced driver assistance, like lane centering or adaptive cruise, often requires dealer-only activations after a repair or retrofit. Over-the-air updates can change how modules behave under new policy terms, and they don't always add features. A push can remove a trial, tighten a limit, or disable a retrofit that passed before. If you want an option re-enabled, the path usually runs through a brand portal and a dealer code. You'll feel it after a repair. Replace a front camera or radar, and adaptive features may stay grayed out until an online session flags your VIN as authorized. Swap a headlight on a car with matrix or adaptive beams, and the unit can sit in a reduced mode until coding completes. Even when the part is genuine, the system holds back without a successful handshake and a record of the entitlement. Costs split two ways. Some brands offer monthly access that looks cheap week to week. Others sell a lifetime unlock that rides with the car. Over 5 years, stacking a couple of monthly features can outpace a one-time hardware option that used to ship active from the factory. That delta isn't accidental. It's built to create recurring revenue and turn features into services. Here's the catch most people discover late. If the subscription lapses or the dealer validation expires, certain functions degrade, and some diagnostics step down to view only. The car still drives, but you're operating a trim version of what you paid for, waiting for the next approval to restore full behavior.